All right, good morning. The court will take up the next case, CV2101019. This is in the interest of Liberty Shouse and Child. The case is set for a initial permanency hearing today. Hearing is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. Participating in the hearing on behalf of the department is to engage permanency manager Haley Smith, Supervisor Tracy Perry, and Brown County Assistant Attorney Terry Moore. The mother of the child is participating in the hearing today, along with her attorney, Lee Haney. The father of the child is Gregory Brown, and he is participating in the hearing. Attorney and guardian ad litem Emily Miller, who represents the child, is participating in the hearing today. Courtney Day, who I believe is the girlfriend of the respondent father, is also participating in the hearing today, and the child is excused from participating in the hearing. If we're ready to proceed, I'm going to ask Ms. House, Mr. Brown, and Ms. Smith, if each of you could raise your right hands, please. Each of you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, thank you. All right, let's see, Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll call Ms. Smith.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Smith, what is your relationship to the Liberty Shouse case?
I'm the permanency case manager with 2 Engage.
And Liberty is currently placed with her father, Gregory Brown. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay. And Ms. Day, Courtney Day, is he married to Ms. Day?
Yes, they are now married.
They are now married. Okay.
She still goes by Courtney Day.
Oh, but she still goes. Okay.
Yes,
I think that was my confusion. I'm old school, I guess. So how is that placement going for Liberty?
It's going extremely well. Liberty is very bonded to her dad and her stepmother. She's up to date on all of her medicals and dentals. She eats extremely well. Courtney told me that she loves onions. I thought that was pretty rare for a 1-year-old, but she loves them. So her eating habits are very good. She demonstrates age-appropriate behavior. We have no concerns. We have a OPS worker that visits her monthly, and she also has not demonstrated any concerns.
Okay. And remind me what OPS stands for.
LPS, it's a worker.
Okay. Okay. Now, are there any services that Mr. Brown needs to complete or accomplish that hasn't already been done?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Let's talk about mom for a few minutes. Heaven, up until recently, at least, in fact, I think when we met yesterday, we weren't quite sure where she was. Is that right?
I am not sure where she is. I've asked multiple times for an address. She will not give that address to us. I have sent a courtesy worker to Mr. Turk's parents' house. It had a no trespassing sign, and the gate was locked, so she was not able to visit her. She left her card. She's also tried to reach to Heaven several times, and we have not been successful. So at this time, we do not have an address for her.
Okay, now she has appeared via Zoom today, but we don't know where she's living. As far as services, has she complied with services?
She has not complied with services. She has completed a psychological. She has a job, and right now that's as far. I ask her on multiple occasions to give me updates on the rest of her services, and she will not update me on those.
Okay. Now she has not signed the service plan, as I recall. Is that correct?
That's correct. She has not. She did participate in the permanency conference. I have given the service plan to her via email. We tried to mail it to the hotel that she was living at the time. I've sent it to Mr. Haney, and we still have not received a signed copy from her.
Okay. So she's only minimally, I guess, in compliance with some of the things that the department has asked her to do.
That's correct. She did have one therapy session with Debbie Marlin, and then she has kind of been MIA with her since then.
Okay, all right. What is the permanency plan at this point for Liberty?
Family reunification with dad with a concurrent goal of alternate family fictive kin adoption.
Okay, all right. But there's, it's not anticipated at this point that a return would be made to mom.
Not at this time.
Okay. Any other concerns or observations about either of the parents or Liberty that you feel like the court needs to know about at this time?
The only concern we have is with Heaven. It's our understanding that she has possibly married Mr. Turk, who has some criminal charges pending on him in regards to this case. So that's very concerning to us.
Okay, and how did you come about that information?
I spoke with the courthouse, and there was a marriage license that they had filed for, but it hadn't been filed again. So if their marriage has been completed, I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. And Mr. Turk, whom she's in a relationship with of some form, he is facing criminal charges as a result of the of Liberty being burned by the bathwater.
Actually, they're both possibly facing criminal charges, but yes, that is correct.
Okay, all right. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you. Mr. Haney, did you have any questions?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you. Ms. Smith, let me start out by asking, and I'm looking at your report, I guess on page 6, if you have that with you, or you may remember it well enough to not need to follow along. But at the beginning in paragraph B, you've indicated there's a column for compliance with court orders, and you said no. Is that correct?
Yes.
How many answers are there to that question by your agency?
I'm not sure. However, she has not been in compliance with the.
Well, if you'll just answer the question, please. I have seen service plans, I don't know if you have or not, that say partial as opposed to yes or no. Have you ever seen a service plan with that analysis?
No.
And you've never used that?
No, I have not.
All right. So let's go through the services to see which ones are completed and which ones still need to be completed. And before we do that, let me ask you this. You've indicated she hasn't signed the service plan. At this point, the service plan's an order of the court, is it not?
Yes, it is.
So whether she signs it or not doesn't change anything as far as this case is concerned.
It does not.
All right. Now, it appears that she has not completed parenting. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And you've provided her the information of who to contact for that?
Yes, I have.
All right. And you indicated that she attended Debbie Marlin for individual counseling, but has not been back to her since the time in March. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, just in passing, let me ask, are you aware of any difficulties in terms of transportation that Ms. Shouse may have?
Not to my knowledge.
You don't know whether or not she owns a car or has a driver's license or anything like that?
She has a driver's license, and it's my understanding is that they do have a car. They are able to get from Brady to Ballinger to work.
Okay. So when you say they have a car, you believe that that Mr. Turk and she share one vehicle, is that correct?
I'm not aware if they have more than one, but yes, sir.
And you've confirmed her employment?
Yes.
And from your discussions with her employer, does she work long hours?
He has not described that she's worked long hours. There had been some times where she had left and not told them, but to my knowledge, she does come and she's done a lot better. She has not provided me any kind of income as to pay stubs, but I have spoken with her employer.
And there was an order that she complete a psychological examination, and she did that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And let's see, a mental health assessment, she did that. Is that correct?
Yes, she did.
That she not use drugs, and she has taken 7 or 8 drug tests, including 1 hair strand test, and they've all been negative. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So with regard to the next section about changes in housing and phone number and all that sort of thing, you do have a phone number for her, do you not?
I do have a phone number for her. Yes, sir.
And if she obtains an apartment and lets you know, then she'll be in compliance with the rest of that. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so those are the primary services. Is there anything else that she needs to do?
She does not maintain consistency with Liberty. She has seen her via Zoom once lately. She had a visit on 6/17. I thought it had went pretty well. She had asked to have weekly visits. We tried to set that up. The permanency support worker also left her a voicemail. I've sent her that information and we have not heard from her in regards. So there's been no consistency in Liberty or her well-being.
All right, well, then let's talk about, I guess, getting more to the heart of the matter than these technicalities of service plans. If she did everything on this service plan, would you still consider recommending placing Liberty with her as long as she's in a relationship with Mr. Turk?
At this time, no, that is not something we would recommend.
So whether she does the services or doesn't do the services, you're not going to recommend that Liberty be placed with her?
No, we're not.
And if she were not in a relationship with Mr. Turk, if they ended whatever relationship they had, and she lived totally by herself and complied with all these services, would you still consider recommending placing Liberty with her?
That could be something that we could better look at. Yes, sir.
All right. Now let's talk about the pending charges. You say that Mr. Turk has pending charges arising out of this incident. Does that mean he's been arrested and is out on bond?
He has not been arrested. It's still in the DA's office.
Okay, so when you say they're pending charges, there isn't actually any charge that's been filed against him. Is that correct?
Not at this time.
All right. And you say there are possible pending charges against Heaven, but what leads you to believe that she may have charges filed on her?
It was just brought to my attention by the investigator that they were also sending that to the DA's office due to her covering up whatever the incident occurred. At this time, we are unsure of actually what occurred.
And do you remember the name of that investigator?
Chrissy Nelson.
The CPS investigator, not the police department investigator?
Correct.
Have you talked with the police department investigator?
I have talked to the officer Spawn on several occasions. He doesn't have an update. I've also spoken with the DA's office several times. And like I said, Mr. Officer Spawn had just said that he had sent all the information over.
Do you know when that might have been that he sent the information over?
It has been a couple months ago.
And the incident that we're talking about occurred, I guess, in January. Is that correct?
Yes, around that time, December.
All right. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Haney. Ms. Miller, any questions?
No, Your Honor, no questions.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Moore, any additional questions?
Just a couple of follow-ups. Ms. Smith, one of the orders is that Heaven tell you where she's living. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
And she's refused to do that.
She refuses to do that, yes. And she also refuses to let us know if she is really in a relationship or married to Mr. Turk.
Okay. And before the department could even consider returning the child to her, the department or to engage would have to see where she's living and see what it's like and inspect it. Is that correct?
Yes.
So just providing the information is the starting point, but that's not all that there would be to it. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Any other questions for Ms. Smith?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Moore, did you have any other witnesses?
No, I'll just ask the court to take judicial notice of the court file and its contents.
Mr. Haney, did you have any witnesses you want to call?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Miller?
Sorry, I've got the lawnmowers going in the background. No witnesses, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brown, any thing you'd like to testify to today about the case or your position at this point? No? Okay. Thank you. All right. The court will continue the department as temporary managing conservator of the child and continue the child in the current placement at this time. The next setting in the case right now is a permanency hearing that is set on November 4th, 2021 at 9:30. A trial is set December 9th, 2021 at 3 p.m. and the dismissal date for the case is January 24th, 2022. Required to notify any parent in this type of case that because of the nature of these proceedings, your parental custodial rights and duties to your child may be subject to restriction or even termination, and your progress on any court orders or plans of service will be reviewed at future hearings in this case.